The big question is, why has Iran decided to attack UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, and especially non-military assets of these countries? That is the heart of the conversation. Because in Tehran's calculus, hitting America's West Asian partners is fastest way to raise the cost of war without fighting the US directly, and also to pressure the Arab nations to distance themselves from Washington. But maybe the Tehranian leaders, they completely fail to gauge the mood. I think what Tehran has done is like what Saddam tried to do so in 1991 and subsequently. It has ended up uniting all other West Asian countries because they are hitting at the economic interest, and the economic interest in UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Riyadh affects the world. So in fact, the world has come to the protection of these countries. On this issue, I'm joined by Ambassador Veena Sikri and Ambassador Jayant Gupta. Thank you so much, sir. The press conference had taken place. Pete Hegseth very categorically said that the war in West Asia is about the American interest, but that's a different debate. But today, the reason why I invited both of you was to understand why Iranian attack has been so incessant and so hard on UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, and the oil factories which are in entire West Asia. Ambassador Sikri.
Yeah, thank you, Karthikeyan, for inviting me. I think perhaps the world underestimated the depth of Iran's own plans to hit back. Of course, Iran had said so repeatedly that they would attack all assets in the Middle East, in the Gulf region. But I think the heart of the Iranian attack is to cripple the economic strength, not only of the Middle Eastern countries they've attacked, but worldwide. Let's take the attacks on UAE, for example. It is being speculated that the heart of the attacks on UAE was to target President Trump's own family business regional headquarters in Dubai. And also we know that the entire image of Dubai as an oasis of financial stability and prosperity, and a great hub where people from all over the world were being welcomed to set up offices, to set up long-term stays. All this has been shattered by the attacks on the UAE. Let's look at the attacks on Qatar. 1 hour ago, or an hour and a half ago, in response to an Iranian attack on the Ras Laffah LNG production center in Qatar, Qatar has announced complete stoppage of all LNG production indefinitely. So imagine the economic blow to India's energy security, to the world's energy security. With that one decision, the Qatar has announced an impact, which I'm sure we'll see the effects tomorrow or tonight in the rise of price of LNG products, in the stock markets and so on. It has been a tremendous blow. But in addition, they have attacked the Aramco refinery. They have attacked, wherever there are American economic interests, they have attacked. Today we saw that of Bahrain, 3 American F-15 jets have been downed. Of course, it's being described as friendly fire, but all the Air Force experts who have been discussing this day long on the channel have said clearly it's not friendly fire. It could not be 3 planes downed through friendly fire. So I think this has been quite unexpected, because it was expected that after the elimination of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini, that the Iranian leadership would just collapse. And also President Trump directly called for a takeover by the Gen Z, by the protesters, and they were imagining that it would be a complete change in the regime very quickly. That has not happened. The 3-member leadership council, which is there with President Pezeshkian and the Ayatollah Arafi and the Chief Justice Ghulam Hussain Ujai, has really controlled the situation. But the IRGC seems to be absolutely acting on its own instructions. And today the foreign minister of Iran was interviewed by Al Jazeera and said that the attack by IRGC on Oman, which happened today, was not under instructions of.
Basically, they're saying that there's a new mosaic strategy in place. You can bomb Tehran, but it doesn't make a difference. IRGC is like a loose federal force now. Commanders are acting on their own, so they are picking up their own targets and taking their own decisions.
Well, the IRGC is certainly acting according to a pre-plan. And it is clear that while the target has been the IRGC headquarters, and many IRGC leaders have been killed, but there are enough IRGC local commanders who are attacking on their own. But this is part of a very well prepared plan by Iran to
Okay.
attack economic assets. Number one. Number two, we've seen the response, the carpet bombing of Tehran that has started. So this is an escalation today, a very sharp escalation, both in the success of the attacks of Iran on these economic assets and in the response from America and Israel in the carpet bombing of Tehran, because they're now hoping to eliminate all the leadership, remaining leadership in Tehran.
Okay.
But the impact of the economic devastation of these economic facilities is going to be long term. It's not just a day or 2 or 3 days. The impact is going to be felt very long term.
Okay.
And I think the sooner they begin a political dialogue, as our government has said, the better it is.
Okay. Ambassador Dasgupta, two questions to you. One, what will be the impact on India? That's number one, in terms of finances and energy supplies. And secondly, why is Iran trying to punish other West Asian countries? Will it not unite them against Iran?
Thank you for inviting me to the show. I think in answer to the first question, the press is reporting that we have about 74 days worth of oil supplies. And we are also large gas buyers from Qatar. So that will also have to be taken into account. But we have diversified our sources. So it is not that the Strait of Hormuz shut down and the Middle East oil supplies coming to a stop will completely cripple us. So I think on that score, we have some elbow room. On the second point as to why Iran is attacking the West Asian countries, I think Ambassador Sikri has made some very important points. It is not the people who are being attacked. And that is why, if you look at the casualty figures in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, and other places, it is three somewhere, in single digits, except for one place where it is in double digits. So the people of these countries are not being attacked. It is the assets, first the military assets of the US located in these countries, and next the US economic interests, whether they are in the infrastructure sector, including energy, or in other, as the Sikri mentioned, President Trump's family firm, its headquarters may have come under attack. So this is a very personalized kind of a thing in terms of President Trump's family business, but otherwise it is the American business interests which are sought to be hit. And the third point is that I think the Revolutionary Guards, they have a kind of a pre-planned, objective which has been, they have been developed independently of the leadership, and they are going to carry out that plan, which may affect all these countries in the Middle East, and as well as countries as far away as Cyprus, for instance, Jordan. They have all apparently come under attack. So it is the fear is that this may escalate into many fronts, and the retaliation by the Israeli forces on Tehran and other Iranian assets may cause a lot of loss of civilian lives, which will put the Middle Eastern countries in a further state of dilemma, because they, on the one hand, I think their people do not support Israeli action against Iran.
Ambassador
fact,
Singh,
I think.
okay,
Yeah,
Ambassador Singh, do you think that Iran can actually hit the real economic assets in West Asia? For example, Aramco factory, the big gas power plants, in desperation?
Yes, they have. The attack on Qatar is a direct illustration of what the Iranians have been able to achieve. They have forced Qatar to declare a complete shutdown of all LNG production. Now, of course, I think India's energy security is not immediately at stake. We have alternate sources, we have our reserves, all that is there. But the impact worldwide is not going to be simple. It's going to be very major. And, the attack on American bases in entire, whether it is Bahrain or Qatar, Bahrain or Kuwait or Qatar and UAE. This is really been something that they have spoken about before, so it's not unexpected. But the ability to continue with the implementation of these plans, even when supreme leader is no longer there and they're operating under a transitional leadership, has said something. But the escalation is what is most worrying, I think, because originally when President Trump started, he talked about 4 to 5 days. Now he's talking about 4 to 5 weeks. But the ability to sustain this kind of destruction for 4 to 5 weeks, because we know that when President Trump was thinking about launching these attacks, his own generals told him one of the reasons they advised him not to was because of the availability of missiles and ammunition, even with USA, because over the last 4 years they've been giving these missiles and ammunition in such large amounts to Israel and to Ukraine, that even their own stocks have been depleted.
Okay.
So, and of course, how many stocks Iran has. This is also a matter of great speculation. Some people are saying, don't worry, they have at least 60,000 missiles. Some people are saying, no, they will run out of it very soon. So these assessments also matter. But I think the carpet bombing of Tehran that started this afternoon would inflict a lot of civilian casualties.
In fact, when you're right, Ambassador Dasgupta, the reports are that now, on third day, the Americans have deployed B-1 bombers. Now, you only deploy B-1 bombers where you are using very heavy ordnance. And B-1 bombing is indiscriminate because you do not have GPS bombs there. These are the bombs to take down multiple apartments at the same time. So, one thing is the expansion of the war theatre, but how is it going to affect the global trade? How is it going to affect the global economy, sir?
I think, for one thing, the whole of the Middle East, is virtually in a shutdown. Airports are
Shut down.
Business travel and other, normal leisure travel, etc. Everything has come to a standstill. So that is going to affect business. The second point is that I think trade had to be suspended in one or two of these stock exchanges in the Middle East. So that is the second point. The third point, which is the most important one, is that energy supplies which are getting disrupted will have a long-term effect, in the sense that it is not going to go away in 2 days or 5 days or 7 days. If this continues, it will affect energy supply and the running of businesses all over the world, because I think about 33% of the oil for the world comes from the Middle East.
Strait of Hormuz, yes, absolutely.
So it is going to be badly affected, and the effects are going to last for months at least. So this is something which, and on the last point is, I think the Middle East was building itself up as a center for financial services and as an alternative to European centers like London, Frankfurt, etc. So that is also going to be jarred for the moment, because I don't think the Iranians will possibly have the wherewithal to carry it on for very long. But this confidence has been shaken.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ambassador Sikri.